Welcome to A-Bomb to Zzzax. With me, Colin Holt. And my friends Dan Snellgrove and Jamie Firth. Here they come! Welcome back once again to A-Bomb to Zzzax, my favourite Marvel character. I did think maybe it should be called the best Marvel character, but I guess it is that. It's our favourite Marvel character. It's definitely our favourite Marvel character. Where me and my two dearest pals, James Furfington and Daniel Snellgrove, reconnect. We're all over the world right now. We're in Chile and the UK, which is most of the world. And we connect over Marvel characters. We go through every single one. I say we go through, we're about 6 in. We do every single character. We chat about every character, the most obscure to the most popular, the hairiest to the completely hair-free, as in the Silver Surfer. He is hair-free. But just like the very hairy Wolverine, when his friends think they've convinced him to come and live in the place they know he'd be happiest, and he's just about to actually do it and come and live with them in the place where he should live, he sneaks off on a plane and flies away somewhere else. It's Daniel Snellgrove. That was true. A badly worded introduction. Basically, we're always trying to get Dan to come and move down to where we live, but instead he's going around South America. Which we don't
any story you want to come up with that puts me as Wolverine, I'm very happy to.
Yeah, fair enough. And you are hairy, not on the top, of course, sadly.
No, there are areas.
Would you like to have Wolverine hair? We all know what Wolverine hair looks like, don't we? It's very hard to get right in the movies, because in the comics, it's literally like 2 big triangles on his head.
I mean, hair you can cut, can't you? So, like, if I had Wolverine hair, I could either cut it or use gel if I'm going out to the discotheque. Dan, you frequently talk about how sad you are that you're single. Is that because you say things like, I'm going to put gel on my hair and go to the discotheque? Well,
that could be it. But I'm afraid, you can't cut the hair. There's a famous story, which we're going to cover at some point, called Weapon X, where they shave his hair off, as there is the story of his experimentation. Just grows back in seconds, but always into that weird shape, like his mask. I don't know where that hair came from, the idea of that hair, but I love it. But what a hairy man. But Dan, you've got a pretty hairy body, right? Can we say that on the pod?
Well, they can't see it, thank goodness. But the images they're getting now is probably quite terrifying.
Dad, you seem to have developed a slight lisp. Is that because you've been speaking Spanish?
Well, I'm in South America, so we...
You've got quite a thought of...
Have I really?
Yeah. Maybe it's your microphone, or you just... I'm not trying to shame people with lisps. That's fine. Lots of people have lisps, but I've never heard you with one before. Is it because you can speak Spanish?
Well, I ought not to, because, as I say, I'm in South America, and they don't say gracias here. It's gracias. So there's no lisp here, mate. I don't know what's going on.
What's going on, mate? What's going on?
Oh, it's chaos.
Mate. Wow. Okay, well, that's Dan Snellgrove. He's here with us today. And my other dear friend, a creature of beauty, draped in shiny white hair, who gives his powers to others so that they can go and fly, as in he directs them. Sort of. It's Jamie Firth, director and actor, Jamie Firth. I'm Colin Holt. I couldn't think of one for myself. Today, we are going to meet 3 of the most incredible Marvel characters of all time that begin with A and L or M. May I just point out, first from the beginning, dear listener, may I just say, can you please review and like and subscribe to this show and become a Patreon at abombtozax.com. No, Patreon/abombtozax.com. Okay, brilliant. Please do that. I really want to keep this going, and these guys are hanging by a fucking thread. So I swore my kids listen. Lucy gave me points yesterday because she listened to the last one, and we didn't swear at all the entire time.
Oh, that's good, right?
But I've ruined that, Lucy. I've ruined that.
Yeah.
So first of all, let's jump in with. We've all read these comics. That's the Dan's looking nervous.
I was on a 22-hour bus journey the other day.
Oh wow! I should have given you more. We should have given you.
It's enough. I did my homework.
Okay, so first we're meeting Alex Power. Alex Power. Now, Alex Power does actually have superhero names. I want to point that out, but he's probably most known as Alex Power of the Power Pack. This comic is we read one comic. We read one comic for each of them, unless they're a very popular character whose story sort of changes, and then we read more. But to be honest, I don't think his story changes that much. But he is part of Power Pack. As I say, Power Pack is a group created in Power Pack 1. I don't want to keep saying Power Pack. In May 1984 by Louise Simonson and June Brigman. A lovely couple of creators. That sounds kind of creepy. But what I liked, I don't know if you saw, but on the last page, it had a little drawing of them and a little explanation of who they were and what they did, how they got into it. Talked about Louise, read books all her life, particularly Narnia, stuff like that. Not Narnia, Alice in Wonderland. There's quite a lot of that in here, I'd say. So anyway, his real name is Alex Power. His surname's already Power, and he gets powers, and he's in Power Pack. What a coincidence. Apparently, he's 5'5", 128 pounds. He's just a kid, for God's sake. And he has the wonderful Aryan blue and blonde makeup that we all adore. So, to explain this story, I'm going to explain the story, what happens very quickly. The Powers are a family. James Power is the dad. We'll talk a bit more about him. Not a big fan of that guy. I don't like James Power. I don't know why. I'm not a fan. James Power is the dad. Can't remember the mum's name. But they have 4 kids who are Alex, Jack, Julie, and Katie. They're in their beach house. When it comes over on the radio, we've seen some UFOs on the radio, which I thought that's quite weird that they're just saying that on the radio. Seems unlikely. But then I guess it is the Marvel Universe, so probably that would be like everyone stay in your homes. You're probably about to get bombed or something. You know, the whole city's going to be wiped out or something. But anyway, then they go out that night. That night they sleep on the porch. I think this house is miles from nowhere. They just let the kids sleep on the porch. You'll be fine. But what a mistake, because then terrible parenting. They see this crashed UFO. They go along. They have a look. They find an alien called Whitey.
So we've got an Aryan kid and a creature called Whitey.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Is Whitey a slur on white people?
I think it
so.
Is.
Okay,
Yes.
I don't think it's meant to be one in this context. Anyway, They befriend Whitey, who is dying, I think. He dies for ages. He's basically dying for the whole book, if I'm right. Really slowly and badly. Not badly as in horribly. Yeah.
Could you just explain Whitey's look?
His look. Yes, we'll get to that.
Okay.
He looks like a seahorse. I don't know why, but he basically looks like a seahorse, but in sort of Star Trek, a white Star Trek outfit. Dan's looking really confused. Have you read?
I'm just checking.
Have you read the Avengers?
No, I've read the Power Pack one with on the front cover with the green alien and they're flying through space.
Yes.
Yeah, and then it's the first thing is Butterfingers, and they're all having a bit of a tantrum. These kids.
Has he read number 2?
I think.
For goodness sake.
Oh, Dan! I literally sent you a photo of the cover.
Butterfingers, you dropped the right comic and picked up the wrong one.
You've got to look at the number there, Dan. That's the key.
The picture
And
and
also
the number. I can't
the
do
cover.
both.
The cover has to look the same as the cover I've sent you. Otherwise,
it
it's
was
a
vaguely
different
similar.
comic.
Ah,
Just anything with these guys in. All right, Dan. No worries. No worries.
I can add some.
We'll fill
I've got
you in.
bonus information.
You've got some thoughts on that. Well, that's good. That's good, if anything. So anyway, they find Whitey, who tells them that he's been attacked by these creatures he calls the Snarks. The Snarks, he can't actually pronounce their name. They do write it, and it's got like K to the power of 7 or something is their name or something. But apparently it's unpronounceable. That represents their unpronounceable. The Snarks attack. Their dad, Mr. James Power, is creating a new method of fusion, antimatter and matter collision, which is going to create the ultimate weapon or the ultimate energy source. They can't let the Snarks get it. Whitey dies, but as he's dying, he passes on his powers to the 4 kids, and they become the Power Pack, is essentially what happens. Oh, and their parents get kidnapped. So the end of episode 1 is we need to go and rescue our parents. Right, that's the story in a nutshell. Let's get into the detail of this beast. Let's really dig into this. So clearly it's meant to be for kids, as in little kids. I mean, all comics arguably are meant to be for kids, apart from some of Saga, stuff like that. Actually, a lot of comics aren't for kids, obviously, but a lot of in this time. But that said, it's already quite dark. And I know from future episodes, it gets very dark. There are like issues where they like meet the Punisher. It's like, what can we do with these 4 kids? One of them looks about 7. Let's have them meet a mass murderer, killing machine. See what happens. Yeah, so weirdly a bit like that. So what did you think of this comic, Jamie? Did you find it charming or irritating?
I thought it was a bunch of hot nonsense.
Hot nonsense.
Yeah. It's
a lot of words.
Alefire Whitemane. I've just found his name. He's got a grand name, but his friends.
But Whitey, that's
friends
Whitey.
call him Whitey.
Yeah, sure. Not Elfie, but he says it's named after a famous literary character from Earth. I think it's a he. I don't even know if it's a he or a she. I mean, who knows? With his a chimelian. He's an alien called a chimelian. He looks like a seahorse. Was he in issue 2, Dan?
No, I don't.
A white
I don't
seahorse character.
Is he the one that gives them all the powers?
Yes.
Right. No, they talk about this person that when they basically sacrifice themselves to give them, to basically give kids these killer powers, which I think is entirely irresponsible, personally.
It's very irresponsible. So he has the powers of, actually, Dan, I want to check this with you. He has the powers of energy, mass, acceleration, and gravity. Those are his 4 powers.
These are all physics, right? I mean,
these very physics. Yeah,
very physics heavy.
These are GCSE lessons, I think.
He passes them on to each of the characters. Okay, so when they get their powers, to explain the kids, I think it's very Narnia-like. They're clearly very Narnia-based. So Alex, Big Daddy, not Big Daddy, Big Kid, Big Brother. There is a Big Daddy. James. I don't like James. I've written Modern Parents from Viz. He reminds me of that. And a bit like the Joy of Sex guy. He's got a kind of weird roll neck and a beard and glasses. And he's at his computer doing work, like trying to create this thing, which is matter and antimatter, Dan, which I know causes an explosion, right?
It does indeed. Yeah, put those 2 things together and
Can you harness that for good, is the question.
Well, I think, like all of these advances, it could go either way.
It is
or
possible.
Both ways. Yeah, you've got to be very careful when you mix those 2 things together.
Oh, God,
like vodka and orange. Yeah, be careful. Be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Be very careful. It's like vodka and Red Bull. Did I tell you about the time that
Red Bull's better.
Producer? I was working with this producer who was doing sketches, and he said I was just in the car and I heard this report on the radio. Do you know what kids drink nowadays? I went, what? And he went, vodka and Red Bull. And we were like, yeah. This was like a long time after that had become a thing. And then he went, no, vodka and Red Bull. And we were like, okay. And then he went, is that a sketch? I was like, I don't know, is it? It's just
a double
things.
act.
And then he went, doesn't have to be vodka, could be whiskey. It's like, okay. What a funny fellow. Anyway, so yeah, the dad. So in the opening scene, the dad is like doing his work. The mum does art, and she's very much like, leave your father alone. He's trying to create fusion or whatever. And they're all just being kids around the house, you know. But he's just grumpy, horrible. But they're very Narnia-like. You've got the two boring ones and the two fun ones. So Alex is the oldest, then Julie. Alex is like big brother telling everyone what to do all the time and being very sensible. Julie is just the same, but a girl, really. She doesn't get much to do, I'm afraid, which is sad because it's created by two women, you know. You know, for God's sake, guys. I mean, come on.
It was the 80s, wasn't it? Or was it? It was, wasn't
it? Jack is the naughty one, constantly up to no good. And Katie is the cute one, like Lucy in Narnia, who actually makes friends with Whitey in the same way Lucy does with Mr. Thomas. So I think there's a strong Narnia vibe going on here. Jack at the top he's listening to the radio and they're talking about baseball. You know, how the radio people talk about baseballs. And he's playing with a glass. He's just throwing a glass. And they're like, what are you doing with that glass? And I'm like, what are you doing with that glass? Why are you just throwing glasses around? Jack needs help.
Is this the dad or is this the older?
This is Jack. Kid? This is the naughty kid.
Oh, the naughty kid. Oh, well, okay. Yeah. That's Jack all over, mate.
That's Jack all over. Yeah. It just feels...
He stays naughty.
Writing-wise, it felt like, he's being naughty. How can we show you? He's just throwing a glass around. It's like, no. What? Anyway, the first thing I noticed about Alex, it's just exposition city with this kid. Constantly. He goes, shape up, Jack. Stop throwing the glass around. Shape up, Jack. I mean, that's an older man. I worry about, as an oldest kid, Dan, you were the oldest son, weren't you?
Yes.
Alex has got a lot of responsibility thrust on him right from the top, you know. Yeah. And he feels he's constantly trying to impress Dad. Yeah, pipe down, Jack. Can't you see Dad's trying to work? What are you working on, Dad? And he's such a dweeb.
Oh,
no. Then they're talking about Mr. Commodi, and he goes, Mr. Commodi, you don't like him, do you, Dad? Like that man who buys your paintings, Mum? It's a lot of exposition from Alex, bless him. Anyway, what's Julie? Science fiction always comes true eventually. Julie says that randomly at some point. Bit of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, they meet Whitey.
I think she says something.
Pony.
She says something about Jules Verne having written about submarines, and then somebody invented it. So the idea is that it starts off as science fiction, but then we catch up. And
she loves books. I feel bad what I said Julie was a bit of a nothing. She's always reading, like Louise Simonson, the writer. She loves reading. Always got her head in the book. Oh, she's trying to wash up and read the book at the same time, which Jack tells her off for. I'm not sure what I'm trying to find here. I'm just getting into this family. I don't think it's very good, I'm afraid. The whole thing was quite boring and slow and sort of like the suggestion of what they want to do, but it wasn't great. But anyway, he slowly dies. They've got these blueprints they're trying to find, which seemed odd to me, that they've got like spaceships that can travel through space. They've got kind of infinite power. They've got tractor beams, stuff like that. But like they have to physically get the physical blueprints. Like they can't just get a photo of them or something. Dan, you look
seems a bit weird.
Dan, you look like you're still trying to remember this stuff and you can't because you haven't read it.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't force yourself to remember.
I can't. No
matter how you haven't experienced.
This is really painful. No, I'm joining.
Yeah.
I'm joining the dots because I know where this is going, guys. I'm from the future.
Yes, you know what's going to happen. Okay, I haven't read past this one. So the other things that I just wanted to say is so Alex gets the power of gravity, and it's represented by weird black squares on his feet.
Yeah, that's gravity.
They do look kind of cool, but they're gravity feet. I think he's got gravity feet. I've got the power of gravity feet. I think Julie gets acceleration because she flies around. Katie's got energy because her hands get hot. And then Jack, the naughty boy, right? the cheeky one, you think he's going to have powers of like shooting laser beams, or, you know, he's going to be like Johnny Storm or something. His power is he turns into a giant cloud boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he does have a name. In number 2, he calls himself Maths Master.
Sorry, Dan, your lisp is really kicking in. No. Can you hear it, Jamie, or is it my headphones?
I wanted to say chorizo. Say chorizo.
Chorizo.
You really went math there.
Is it? I'm saying the word.
I feel like I'm bullying you now. I'm not trying to bully you, Dad. It's just really surprising. Say maths master again.
Maths Master.
Maths. I thought you said Maths Master, and I was like, no! This is just a GCSE.
Oh, Dan, you're gonna have absolute paranoia now. Have you been on some mind expanding things?
That's not relevant to this podcast. I'm going to move the mic slightly.
Okay.
How about now? Maths Master.
He's pled the fifth.
It's got to. Have you gone very camp while you're there?
I was always very camp. What do you mean?
We're more of a bear, I'd say.
Oh, thank you. We're going way off topic here. Look,
we are going off topic. Sorry. So, okay, a couple of other notes I've got about Alex. He says, he often talks like an old man. At one point he says, I'll say we've been had. That's not something that a 10-year-old would say, is it? I'll say we've been had. Also, Julie calls him out as a chauvinist because they say, you girls stay here and we'll go and deal with it, you know? She says the chauvinist pigs. And then they go, we're coming, right? Shut up, we're coming. You can't tell us what to do. And then Alex leans to Jack and goes, not bad, her Jack, and winks at him. I don't know what's happening there. I think he's trying to say, but I think he's trying to do reverse psychology on them, maybe. Or he's like, hey, these girls are pretty tough after all. Either way, it's definitely bringing him right down the column for me. I know he's a kid. But
to be honest, if he's using psychology, then that's spectacular.
Are you putting this on now?
Yeah, I am putting it
on. If he's using psychology, that is pretty spectacular. But yeah. So there you go. That's Alex. Oh, so the other thing about Alex, what I love, is they come up with their names. He calls them Power Pack because we'll be Power Pack. It's like, all right. And Julie is Lightspeed. Fine. Katie is Energizer. Obviously, it sounds like a battery, but not sort of makes it sense. Jack, she suggests, Jack, you should be Jack in the Box. And he says, no, that's rubbish. I think it's quite a good name. I'm going to call myself Maths Master or Math Master, which is probably the least cool name ever. Such a weird choice. But Alex goes for G Power. I'll be G Power. At least he didn't go for G Spot, which is good, but still G Power is G Force, surely.
G Unit's already taken.
Is it?
G Whiz.
Yeah.
But I looked up and he's had a lot of different names over the years, right? Because they couldn't get it right. That's why he's Alex Power. So he was G Power, and then he became Zero G. Then he became Destroyer.
What?
Random. Yeah. Then he became Smart Alex. Oh. Then he became just G-double-E, just G. That was probably during the sort of late 90s hip hop phase of Power Pack, I reckon. Do you know what I mean? Just call me G. And Power Packs he became, which is a very strange name. If you're in a group called Power Pack and you call yourself Power Packs.
As in with a
they're a family, they're not just a group.
With an X.
A piece.
Like G Packs, though. Like a stuffing.
An X, Power Packs. Like Packs. Right, that's all my thoughts on Alex Power. I hit you with them hard.
Yeah.
What did you learn in episode 2, issue 2 even, about Alex Power?
Yeah. Well, they start off in a massive tantrum. And the energy girl almost blows up their shit because she's just, having a tantrum. As kids are fine, kids can have tantrums. That's what kids do.
It does
give them superpowers.
Yeah.
You know, this is going to happen. As I say, Whitey has got a lot to answer for.
Was he right to give them those powers? I mean, I did think that myself is a bad idea, but the Earth was about to be destroyed. Oh, the other thing was, the reason he was trying to tell Earth not to make this thing is that is their main source of power, right? But the first time they tested it, they destroyed their entire planet.
Yeah.
Probably so
pretty bad.
But they still tested it a second time.
Well,
because they now use it regularly. And that takes balls, doesn't it? It's like when they did the Large Hadron Collider. Do you remember that? And there was a chance it could destroy the universe or something.
Give it a go.
My mum was like, "Oh, aren't they daft? Crazy. Aren't they daft?" Anyway, yeah, that was my last thing. Sorry. But yeah, so Julie's having a tantrum, or one of them, Katie probably.
Yeah. But they do go and get the antimatter machine, to cut a long story short, and they make off with it, but they accidentally drop it like stupid kids, and it smashes on the floor.
Is Giant Cloud Boy still walking around?
Yeah, and he does have a moment where you feel sorry for him because he has like an aside to the viewers almost, and just sort of says, "Oh, my powers are rubbish," basically.
Oh,
so you have a little like maybe that's why he's being so like moody and stuff, because he feels lesser to the others. So
yeah.
But it's not about him, is it? It's about Alex. We don't care about him. He gets no points.
He did go for Mass Master as well. I mean, I'd love to turn into a giant cloud. I'm not sure what he does as the giant cloud. Can the cloud hit things, or is it just purely aesthetic? Right.
No, he sneaks under door. He could sneak under a door and then come back to like a body again and do things. So in one bit, he snuck under a door. They all get very hungry at one point and they want a ham sandwich. This is actually what happens. They see a ham sandwich through a window.
Oh, this is quite fun.
Yeah.
What window? Where?
In a spaceship? Are they back on Earth now?
No, they've gone to the place to get the machine to they don't know what they're going to do because they're kids. They can't work. They're still trying to work out their powers, which is kind of an interesting idea. I find it a little bit anyway.
Annoying. I mean, Alex does say things like, "I'll say we've been had," but I think he's putting on. He's acting like his dad, isn't he? Really?
Yeah, I know what that feels. Yeah, but they look through the window at the baddie and go, "Oh, look, he's got a ham sandwich. He doesn't deserve that. He's a baddie." Essentially, is what they say. So,
is he a human? Is he an alien baddie?
No, he's like
he is a human.
A horrible, like 50-year-old white man who wants to use. Yeah, exactly.
It's like you, Jamie. Ugh.
And
sorry,
he wants to use the power of the antimatter machine as a weapon, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
He's going to sell it for loads of money. But he doesn't need all this money and stuff because he's already got lots of sweets in his pocket and a ham sandwich. This is what the kids notice. And it's
so he doesn't need all the money. I mean, does it suggest he's a billionaire?
No, that's fair. But at this point, all the kids worry about is that they're really hungry.
They just want that sandwich.
They want the sandwich. Many ham sandwiches.
Do they get the sandwich? Please tell me they get the sandwich.
I know listeners want to know. Well,
is that the end of the cliffhanger of episode 2? There's no butter on it or something.
I'm afraid it's a tragedy, this story. Oh. He goes through, he becomes a body again.
Yes.
Grabs the sandwich, then has to become gas to go back to the window, and then drops the plate, and the sandwich smashes to the floor, or the plate smashes to the floor. They do not get the sandwich.
Oh, ham on.
Ham on? Ham on.
Come on.
Ham on. Oh, that's a real tragedy, isn't it? Never mind saving the earth. Save their bloody bellies. Poor little fellas.
There you go.
It could be quite harrowing. I mean, it does get harrowing. As I say, they end up, there's one issue where I know that from reading X-Men, where they end up like on the run with Wolverine, and Wolverine, you know, when he goes in his berserker rage and just kills everyone, and they're dealing with that.
Wow.
Poor kids, like, right, how do we deal with this guy? I'll say we've been had. I'll say we've been bloody had. Do you know what I did like was the Snarks. Are the Snarks in issue 2?
The green things.
The green baddies are called the Snarks. They're not really called the Snarks, as I say. He's named them after Lewis Carroll. Whitey's a big fan of Lewis Carroll. The Snarks, what I found quite funny about them is they've sort of, I don't know how to say this without body shaming the Snarks, but their legs, their hips are kind of, they've got a tail, a big fat tail, right? But like point straight up. And then their hips are kind of like the same place where their elbows are. So they've kind of got this butt. They've kind of got big butts. But they're like reptilian, you know, but they've got big butts. And I kept thinking of that bit in the Divine Comedy song about the National Express. The National Express, for people who don't know, is a bus that you could get in England, in the UK rather. And there's a line about, on the National Express, there's a jolly hostess selling crisps and tea. And then one of the lines goes,
she'll provide you with drinks.
Yes.
And theatrical winks for a Sky High thing. Very
good. But then it ends with, it's hard to get by when your ass is the size of a small country. And that's, the Snarks all look like that kind of, the kind of woman that would have pushed a trolley on a train because of the butt. There's no way to say it without fat shaming. But that's what once I saw. Oh, hang on. Once I saw it, couldn't stop seeing it.
Well, I didn't notice it because, I mean, maybe because I'm in Latin America and they've all got beautiful booties over here.
Oh yeah.
So that's not shaming. That's, you know,
they're all Snarks.
You know, they're all Snarks over here.
Snark sounds like a horribly derogatory word. My thing's doing that
reptilian butt lift.
The what?
The reptilian butt lift.
The reptilian butt lift.
There was a line in this comic. So this is from 1984, I think. It's a little while ago, and when after Whitey dies, they say, "Oh, he just disappeared, and he died," and one of the children says, "Maybe he didn't. Remember Obi-Wan in Star Wars?" And it's like, that's a massive spoiler for anyone that's not seen it, and also obviously Disney eventually own Star Wars as well. So it all came round.
I actually lost a bit of you there, Jamie, but I'm guessing you're saying the bit where they just reference Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah,
because it really is that bit in all films where they have the Obi-Wan Kenobi moment. They just say it. I was like that bit of Obi-Wan Kenobi, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And actually, in number 2, they reference Han Solo as well.
Do they?
Yeah.
So they're trying to push this Star Wars element to it.
Well, I was saying that this is 25 years before Disney owned Star Wars.
Mm. But Marvel did have the official Star Wars comic, so they must have had some I think copyright stuff wasn't quite as harsh as it is now, so they did make the original.
Okay.
Well, there we go. That's good old Alex Power. I'd say he's been had, but he's we'll put him in the list somewhere at the end. Generally quite annoying fellow. I could, if you want me to tell you more. No. Okay, fine. All right, we'll come back to that on further reading. I don't think he's dead. They've all died and come back. Okay, going from probably the least cool child in Marvel to possibly the coolest you could imagine. Amazing Fantasy, Volume 2. This is very important. I'm really on tenterhooks whether Dan has read this or not.
The right one.
Not Amazing Fantasy Volume 1, which was a comic going right back to the 50s, which was like, you know, the anthology horror comics and stuff, or science fiction horror comics, which Amazing Fantasy Volume 115, God, this is so nerdy, but featured the first appearance of the original Spider-Man. First appearance of Spider-Man was the original Amazing Fantasy. So this is one that came out much, much later in the 2000s, I believe. I haven't written it down. And features 5 or 6 characters, the first one of which is Amadeus Cho, as he's called here. This confused Dan last time. Did it confuse him this time? That's the real hook of this show. He is called in that comic Mastermind Excello, but his actual name is Amadeus Cho. And I think from this comic onwards, he just becomes Amadeus Cho. And then he becomes other people, but we'll get to that. So he's created by Greg Pak and Takeshi Miyazawa. Hope I said that right. Little bit about him. He is Korean American, raised in Arizona. He has a sister called Mary Curry Cho. Apparently his parents were big fans of famous dead people. 5'6", 117 pounds, black eyes, and black hair. And he's got black eyes. That's what it said. So there we go. Dan, Did you read it?
Did I read it? Drum roll. I believe I did. I read this one.
Fantastic. Yeah. You read these on a 24-hour bus journey.
Yeah, it's not as easy as you think, actually. I have to download these things first. The 22-hour bus journey is not as easy as...
No, I couldn't do it. We watch the program Race Around the World, and they are constantly going on 12-hour, 13-hour, 20-hour bus journeys, and I couldn't. Do you raw dog? You know about raw dogging?
Do you know what? My brother told me about raw dogging.
Yeah.
I could not raw dog for 22 hours. No.
I can't raw dog for like 8 minutes.
No way.
I have to be looking at some screen or book.
Could somebody please tell me what raw dogging is?
Do you not know what raw dogging is?
I'm leaping to all the wrong conclusions, I imagine.
Well, you get a dog. No. It's a thing that sort of young men of a certain type, you can probably imagine the type, are currently challenging themselves to go on very long flights, but I guess it could also be a bus journey or a train, with nothing to distract them. You just have to look at the seat ahead of you for the entire journey. And you're not allowed. I don't know if you're allowed to eat and drink and stuff, but you're not allowed to read or watch anything or go on your phone. And it's just a weird challenge. I think people are literally flying out and flying back to do it. It's so mad. It's so gross.
I mean, you've got to have a hobby, haven't you? I suppose.
Yeah. Well, it's a challenge, really. Kat thinks it's a good idea. She's into it. She can sit on a train with nothing and just stare. You know. I don't know if they're even allowed to look out the window. Are they allowed to look at? They must be allowed to look out the window.
I don't think so. I think it's all just staring ahead. I mean, I can understand perhaps where Kat's coming from, maybe with regards to like getting off technology and stuff. Maybe just having some. If you meditated for that period of time, maybe. But I don't think that's the spirit of it. I think it's just that you just stare and
it's just endurance.
I don't know. Endurance, yeah.
Yeah. My mate was telling me about this. There's this like ultra marathon where you just go along a 1 mile tunnel back and forth in complete darkness. Until you've done 20 miles. Anyway, yeah.
Wow. We are going off topic a little bit.
We are going off topic. Let's talk about Amadeus Cho. Dan, did you read it? Do we still even know? You did. Did you say?
Okay. Let's see. Because I did get a bit confused because
boy,
because it says introducing 6 new characters, and then it gives you those 6 characters. In fact, it gives you 7 characters, and I was like, all right, Amadeus Cho, and I looked down the list, and I couldn't see Amadeus Cho. It even showed me a character called the guy in Spider-Man's armpit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I thought, how irrelevant is the character that Colin's given me this week? That it doesn't even feature, but a guy in Spider-Man's armpit does. And then I remembered, this time he's called Mastermind Excello for this episode only.
It is confusing, to be fair.
I got so confused, I gained a list.
I think that said, I think if you literally turn to the first page and the first panel, I think is someone saying, listen, Amadeus Cho. So,
that is true. Yeah. Yeah, so I was confused for one page.
It wasn't quite Sherlock Holmes level detective work needed.
But I just refused to go on to the next page until I'd found my character.
Okay, fine.
I'm not reading anything.
I will not go further. Okay, but what did you think of this guy? Do we like him?
Okay, so he's like a super brain. And I quite like I quite like superbrain type characters, and he's a youngster running away from the authorities. They're trying to call him in, come work with us, and he's like, "How can I trust you?" So that's kind of the dynamic.
I don't think we know who they are, do we? Do we ever? Are they S.H.I.E.L.D. or?
We don't find out. No,
we don't find out.
It's a young lady with blonde hair, green eyes, as opposed to his black eyes. He does have black eyes in the comic.
Yeah. Oh, weird.
And yeah, she's saying, look, we know you're so intelligent. Come work for us. We know you're intelligent. Do you know how they know he's so intelligent?
Yeah, I do. Please tell us, though, because I read all the comics.
I tried to, Colin. It's because he did really well on a TV quiz show.
Yeah, I love that.
I hate people who go on TV quiz shows and do well. They're awful, aren't they? Aren't they the worst?
People who do that, yeah. I absolutely agree.
Oh, I was like, who are they talking about? It's me. It's me. Yes, I am Celebrity Mastermind champion. I am Mastermind Excello. And what was my specialist subject? DC Comics. I wanted to do X-Men. I wanted to do Marvel or specifically X-Men, but they said it's got to be DC. Can't remember why. But there was a reason why.
Whoa.
But I still won. I won. I am Mastermind Excello. I imagine this feels like a kind of old school quiz, like the film quiz show with Ray Fiennes. Did you ever see that? Like a sort of 1950s, feels like, one of those American Jeopardy, something like that. I get the feeling that's what it is. Anyway, he won it.
How many points did he get? It was very specific.
Yeah.
He got 7,348 more points than somebody else, I think. I don't remember.
How many points do you get for a question?
I have no idea.
How does that work? That's a good point.
He won by 7,500 points.
Each question's like a point, surely. Or double points, but not 7,000 points. We don't know.
Show would be going on forever, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Goodness sake. No one would watch that.
Maybe it was like Deal or No Deal, and it's just him coming back every week.
He scored 7,839 more points than any other competitor.
Wow.
Well, did you do that, Colin?
That's a big total.
No, I didn't. In all honesty, I drew with Andrea McLean from Loose Women. But I had less passes. So
I overpowered her in the violent physical round at the end.
Yes, that's what it came down to. Kicked her in it, mate. Sorry. It was pugil sticks. That's how they said all this. So Amadeus. So he's on the run. Sorry, he's on the run.
He's on the run. He goes in a calf. And he's hiding a baby coyote in his coat.
Yeah. Lovely little detail. Love that.
Kind of strange, but yeah. And
he lies to the popo about what it is. He says it's an Alsatian crossbreed with something else. It's like, mate, clearly that's a coyote.
Yeah.
We can all see.
Yeah. He's not fooling anyone with that old garbage. And the policeman who comes in didn't find it very funny at all.
No. Furious.
So, says, look, they've got rabies, so come on. Get it out your coat and let it go. And then it kicks off. Oh, my goodness. You don't muck about with Mastermind Excello.
Feels very real, the drama. Not so much the superpowers, but just the sort of the escalation of violence happens quite quickly. There's tension.
There are looks between the couple of people who are sat there. There's a guy sat there, and he's watching.
Yeah, a mysterious stranger.
Yes, we'll come back to him for sure. And then it all kicks off when the policeman sort of reaches forward to get the coyote pup. And then Amadeus presses play on his Walkman. Is that his cassette Walkman?
Yeah.
And then things become really loud, I think. The TV goes really loud. I don't really understand what he did there, but...
Oh, he must have... Has he, like, rejigged it to become a sonic blaster or something?
Yeah, probably that, because it's really loud. It's so loud we can see the sound with those lines. And then, my goodness, he really shows how clever he is. Lots and lots of A-level maths equations appear on the screen.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how far you guys got with maths, but these equations, and any A-level maths student would be able to tell you what these are. These are not very complicated, actually.
Oh, really? Really? I just looked at them for one. So to explain, it's a bit like in Sherlock. I wrote, but this was much before Sherlock, as in Sherlock will see the answers written on the wall or something in front of, the solutions. But Mastermind Excello or Amadeus Cho, whenever he does a thing, like moves a mirror in a certain way so a laser beam hits it and bounces back and hits something else, whatever, he sees all the equations required in a sort of weird pink circle. So it almost looks like a sort of Eastern magical thing, doesn't it? But it's not. Yeah. It's just maths. But you're saying that's quite basic maths, is it?
Yeah.
I just looked at it once and went, no, don't know. I didn't even try. I mean,
it's me sort of feeling like I want to hark back to the kid at university who didn't quite do as well as he could have done because he was acting all the time in the theatre. But I look at these equations.
Making real money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like on these podcasts.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, all that
Please.
stuff.
Pay us.
So I always look at these things when there's loads of equations up and go, like, can I understand them? A lot of the time I can't. But these I was like, oh, hang on. Actually, these are some of the first ones. So they're not that complicated, and the people are getting dazzled by them. So, like, there's one for like kinetic energy. So how much kinetic energy something has as it's moving along. It's another one for, like, if you lift something up, how much energy it has, how much it wants to drop back to Earth, basically. That's the potential energy.
So they do make sense as equations. It makes sense. And do they relate to what he's doing?
Well, I guess so, because I think what he's going to do is he's going to flick a little lemon seed. It's going to ping off the guy's head, and then he's going to, like, kick the shelf full of cherry pies just in the right place so it lands exactly on their heads and things. So they vaguely relate. I mean, there's one here which is about centripetal force, which is like if you get a conch on a string and you spin it around like that, the tension on that string, stopping it from pinging off, that's the centripetal force, that tension. So there's an equation for that, which I don't think is relevant here. I think he's overthinking the situation.
I just assumed it was gobbledygook. Like when they show like a newspaper and it says a story, but all the words are just like nonsense.
Lorem ipsum.
And the idea is you just kind of brush over it. This is really cool. Well done. I love the writer Greg Pak, I should say. If you want to read anything else by Greg Pak, I'd highly recommend it, anyone. But this makes me love him even more.
He's done his research.
We're firmly in science corner at this point, I imagine.
Firmly in science corner. In fact, I think we're leaving science corner. And we didn't even know we were there. Science corner. Cool. So then, of course, he does various crazy things not crazy things, actually highly incredible, intelligent, scientific things to cause havoc in the room and escape.
Yeah. And can I just say, I just wanted to say, he's, they say that they've calculated that he's the 7th smartest person on the planet. The woman that was talking to him on the phone.
Yes.
And I just, in a whole sort of tell me more type thing. I wondered if you, Colin, knew the 6 people who are more intelligent than him. I mean, I've got some guesses.
Okay.
They're all Celebrity Mastermind contestants, I would imagine. I
think I'm right. I'm I could Google it as we're sat here, but give me some guesses. Shall I tell you? Do you want to make any guesses? Yes,
Can
please
I guess?
do.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna.
I'm going to go Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
He's really clever, right?
I reckon he's number one.
Banner.
There is a bit of a. Oh, hang on. I've got top 10 smartest characters in Marvel here. Yeah, go on then. Right, hold on. It's come. Oh, Safari cannot open page. Let me.
No, right.
Okay, here we go.
So you're not one of the 6.
Okay, I've got it. Okay, so say those names you think they are.
Okay, so I guess Reed Richards.
So you said Reed, yeah.
Banner.
Banner.
Jamie had a guess at Banner.
He's on there.
Stark, Tony Stark.
Yep.
Doctor Doom, is he clever?
I feel he should be on there. Oh, this is 10 smartest superheroes. Okay, hang on.
I perhaps should have warned you about this. Sorry, Colin.
One thing I did notice, though, 7 smartest Marvel characters. One thing I did notice is on that list, he was bumped to number 9. Okay, here we go.
We got it.
Okay, apparently the official... Oh, but I know this is wrong. Okay. All right, I'm going to go with roughly a couple of things I've looked at. So who do you think? So you said Reed Richards, Von Doom, yes. Tony Stark, yes. Bruce Banner, yes.
Yeah.
Slingsaw, yes.
Yes.
Sandy Toksvig.
Sandy Toksvig's on there. Stephen Fry.
My mate Phil. He uses a lot of long words and he doesn't even need to use
Phil's just bumped off, actually. Was it Phil who used to do the impressions?
No, that's Kev.
That was Kev. Kev did an impression that was Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton used to go, "Oh, hello, Bill." That was the impression.
Yeah.
Why did he say hello, Bill? Ah, hello, Bill.
Hello, Bill. Had a lot of women in your time, Ma.
What's the finger thing? What is that? Is it a cigar?
He's smoking a cigar,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, he's smoking a cigar.
Why is he working it so much?
I don't... And then he had one which was Saddam Hussein, which was basically he used his fingers to make a Hitler moustache, did a salute, a Nazi salute, and then went, Saddam.
Saddam! Yeah, he was a master impressionist.
And who was the third one? Was the third one with like his dad or something? What was it? It was
no, the third one was he used to like close one eye, then cover up the wrong eye with a pat, like a pirate patch, and go "Or," and that was the character called Captain Pirate. And no one knew who that was. So in some ways, it was spot on, that one.
Okay, right. I'm going to go with a list.
Okay.
I'm going to. There's many lists, but I know that some of these are not accurate. I don't know who to trust anymore. Who do we trust?
We've not said Magneto or Professor Xavier either. Are they on?
Professor Xavier isn't on there. Neither's Magneto, actually. Okay, Marvel.com has this list. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay, so you've said most of them, but we're going backwards, okay?
Okay.
Number 10 is T'Challa. Do you remember who he is?
Black Panther?
No.
Black Panther, correct. The Black Panther is number 10. I thought he'd be higher. Number 9 is now Amadeus Cho. He's been knocked off 7th slot. Henry McCoy, the Beast, is number 8.
Oh.
Riri Williams, who, Dan, I don't think you'll know, but that is
Iron Man.
She's Iron Heart. She sort of replaces Iron Man.
All right.
There's a series of her coming out. Then Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man. Then Valeria Richards, which is Reed's daughter, who I think we've talked about. We may have even met her. We have met her. We've met Valeria, right?
Yeah, Agatha.
Bruce Banner, Tony Stark, Reed Richards, and number 1, this probably gets a lot of middle-aged men very angry, is Moon Girl. Luna Lafayette. We'll meet her at one point. Lucy, My daughter has read the entire run and loves it. It's Moon Girl. So without getting into it, the great Jack Kirby created some mad characters on his own when he was left to his own devices. One of them was Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur, which was a little caveman called Moon Boy, a hairy caveman who rides a big red dinosaur in the past. Anyway, they revamped it about 5 years ago to Moon Girl, who is a modern, very intelligent girl who's like 13 or something, but is the smartest person in the universe.
So presumably she's one of the ones that have overtaken Amadeus Cho.
Yes, I guess so. So she's not. I guess her and Riri have knocked.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of men.
That makes canonical sense.
A lot of men are fuming about this. Well, yeah. So there you go. Right. Wonderful. We love Amadeus Cho, right?
I mean, I do, but I have a but, and that is
great. I love you. Like a snark.
I've got a snark but coming up. It's all very well being able to work out how to do these things. Like, yes. Okay, I know the angle I need to move that mirror to shoot that laser beam into that guy's retina.
Yeah.
But to actually do it is another matter. You know, working out in your head, like, you know, Paul, you can work out the angles, but I'm rubbish at Paul. For me to try and actually achieve it, you need all these other skills. So I'm not sure it's clear. Has he got all these super other powers of like super eyesight?
He must have. I don't know whether he has an actual power or not as such, but he whether is it a power or is it just that he is the seventh smartest person in the world? But then does that mean that Reed and Tony and everyone can also do all this?
Yeah,
maybe.
Oh yeah, they're spitting lemon pips at people and throwing pepper in their faces.
It's a bit actually, if anything, it's more like Bullseye's power. You know, do you remember Bullseye from the Daredevil movie, Colin Farrell, where he can like throw anything and kill anyone with anything?
Right. See, there you go. Yeah, he's got that as well.
It's kind of that. And he's not smart particularly. He's just very good at aiming. You're not sure. Oh, Dan,
I think
you're not sure about Amadeus. Okay, fine.
It's a misrepresentation of intelligence, in my view. You've got intelligence and ability.
Wow, interesting. Well, talking of Banner, of course, that stranger next to him, the strange man in the cafe, turns out to... What do they do? He gets knocked on the head with something accidentally, and then he's only the bloody Hulk. That is Bruce Banner, which is lovely. And I've written down the artwork, wonderful. The way they draw the Hulk, I thought was very cool. And I like it when he says something like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Hulk," and he's like, "It's all right. Don't worry about it." Sorry, Hulk automatically gravitates to Amadeus. And from then on, Amadeus basically becomes a sort of sidekick to the Hulk. And actually, at one point when the Hulk dies or something, takes over and becomes the totally awesome Hulk. He becomes the Hulk. And then after that, he becomes a sort of new Hulk called Brawn, who is Hulk. But he's basically just Hulk if he's a kid. I haven't really read those stories, but they don't look particularly good. But I think he's back to just being clever old Amadeus Cho. Well, there we go. That's Amadeus Cho. We must move on because we've been talking forever. And it's been wonderful. I've really enjoyed it. But Dan, presumably you want to get out and hit bloody Chili's nightlife.
Please, yeah.
So finally, I hope we read the right ones because I did change this last minute because I realized this comic features one of my favorite... I've sort of spoilt it already, but one of my favorite childhood moments in any comic, or one of my favorite comics from my childhood. What? One of my favorite moments in a comic from my childhood. So it is Alpha Flight is the character or characters. We do groups because they are in the list. And this appearance of Alpha Flight, it's not their very first one, but I think their first best one. It's X-Men 120. From January 1979, the year of my birth, written by Chris Claremont and drawn by John Byrne. Before we crack on, some Alpha Flight characters who aren't in this issue, I should point out, are Fang, Box. One's just called Box. He's just a box. Flex. These are Alpha Flight quite famously have some of the worst characters and named characters. Flex, Major Maple Leaf, Talisman. Me and Dan like Game of Talisman. Manbot. Puck, who is a great character, but isn't in this episode, sadly. Dan, you'd be a big fan of Puck. And finally, Yukon Jack, who I could find nothing about anywhere. So anyway, there you go. Jamie, you had a good old read of Alpha Flight, or rather of X-Men 120. What did you think, buddy?
I did. I thought I'd read 121, so maybe not.
Shit,
yes,
maybe it is 120.
It's Canada's premier bunch of superheroes. It's a kind of West Coast Avengers scenario where they have matching characters for. I mean, I assume Captain Maple Leaf or
Major Maple Leaf.
Major Maple Leaf, I imagine, is Captain America.
I don't know. I think he was a comedy character.
I could not read this comic without thinking about South Park and thinking about the way that they depict Canadians. Because
blame Canada.
It's Canada's first team of superheroes, the culmination of a decade of intensive research and development, and they think they're the equal of any supergroup on Earth. And they're taking on the X-Men, and they're Aurora and North Star and Shaman and Vindicator and Snowbird, and they're all very carbon copies of the characters we know and love.
You think they're rip-offs of Avenger?
Well, no, of the X-Men.
Wolverine does at one point call them a tin pot Yukon Avengers.
Yeah, and that's
what's Yukon? Is Yukon an area of Canada?
Yes, I think it is.
Okay.
It's a potato as well, I think. A Yukon potato, I think.
Okay. It was issue 121, just to retract. It was issue 121, so you were right.
You got me worried.
And their big the big guy is Sasquatch. I forgot to mention who
literally a Sasquatch.
Yep, just popped in. So they all face up against each other, and they've all kind of got their opposite characters. And it's a fun jaunt.
It is a fun jaunt, isn't it?
A lot of the beginning of the comic is about, I think, Calgary's theme park. It feels a lot like they're sort of advertising, like the Tourism Board of Canada got on board with this and managed to get them to go. I know
the artist John Byrne, right? I don't know him. But he's one of the most legendary X-Men artists. He is Canadian, and he pushed a lot for this, I believe. And Wolverine is obviously Canadian. We have to point out, who is one of the X-Men.
Yeah.
And the whole point is that Alpha Flight are trying to make him come back with them because he signed a contract or something to work for the government. It's a very odd tale. I can't give you the exact specifics, but they're on a plane on the way back from Japan to the US, and they've been brought down by a blizzard over Canada, forced to land in Calgary, presumably going to do Niagara Falls and maybe the Montreal Comedy Festival. We just don't know. The West Edmonton Mall,
yes,
which I've been to, the biggest mall in the world. It was, yeah. In fact, I may have bought this comic there because my comic love began in Calgary, where this is. This is in Calgary with my cousin Sean, who, funnily enough, I bumped into in Edinburgh, and he didn't know I was on, and he came to see me. That was fun. Not sure he liked it, to be honest, but But I said, you ought to blame for... no, I think he did. I said, you ought to blame for me doing this podcast for a start. But yeah, sorry, crack on, Jamie, please tell us.
This is Wolverine in his yellow special suit. If anyone's seen the old Deadpool recently, then it's the classic Wolverine. And these are all the classic X-Men, I would say.
The greatest era.
Meeting with some absolute made-up nonsense Canadian versions.
Some losers, yeah.
And
I think it's in the previous issue, but Sasquatch tries to stop their plane and grabs it, which is quite a cool moment where he grabs the plane, but then just throws it and smash it. And they're like, "What are you doing, Sasquatch?" And it smashes up into many pieces, and somehow they're all right. They just get out.
Yeah, Canadian heroes. it's all not very good, I think. I mean, as a gang, they do feel like they've just been kind of pulled in from central casting at the last minute.
Amateurs.
Okay, you're Sasquatch. Okay, what's your power? You can do a thing.
Do you mean, Jamie, they don't feel very developed?
They do not. They feel developed for this issue only. And
yeah, I mean, so I was originally going to give you this, which is their sort of first appearance. They appear as a foil for the X-Men, basically because they want to get Wolverine back. Because it's like Wolverine's Canadian. The first time you see Wolverine in the X-Men is Professor X taking him away from his secret Canadian
Yukon brothers.
Also, like, weirdly, in the Marvel Universe, Canada is like the most dangerous spy-based, like, experimenting on people. Yeah, like they're absolute. They're like evil. Well, like in the Weapon X one, was it? Where they're all like, it's just the idea that Canada's got the most dangerous espionage people.
Canada is
MI6
the US
of Canada,
Scotland, right? I mean, it's the neighbours to the north, the dangerous. Yeah. That's horrifying with their strange bacon.
Lovely people, though. Good people. A wonderful place. Wonderful place. What were we saying? This is terrible.
Terrible weather.
Something really interesting. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. So I was going to give you Alpha Flight #1, which is their official series, which John Byrne wrote and drew, but it's so boring, and he makes it. They're such boring characters, and he's got like he's obviously really into making it accurate. So it's got like the proper sort of Houses of Parliament of Canada there, and it's got like the actual prime minister, or a guy who looks like the prime minister, I think, or as in he looks too like a real person to not be. Do you know what I mean? It's really accurate, but it's like bureaucracy. The whole thing's bureaucracy, and just them like discussing how they get together as a team and what they'd have to do. Like, do you know what I mean? The official kind of order of sequences they'd have to do to make the team work with the new member and stuff. It's literally like it's really boring. It's so boring.
It's a very
and there's so many words.
It's a very thin premise. I think at one point, so Wolverine has been like taken by these Canadians, and he's asleep. He's in like a coma, and then the X-Men arrive, and basically he just wakes up and he says, I was just pretending, I'm just faking it.
I mean, it is Wolverine, to be fair. Yeah, he can't get knocked. I think he literally can't get knocked out, can he? Well, presumably not for very long. His hair grows back in seconds, as I said at the start. So they have a big old fight. One of my favorite lines. So there's a guy called Shaman, who is a Native American.
Native Canadian.
Canadian.
I assume.
Of course. Oh, yeah, actually. Don't know. But he is he's a magical shaman guy, but he seems as powerful as Doctor Strange. I mean, he creates the blizzard, all this stuff, but then his weapons are very like quite on point. Is that the phrase, or what's the like quite? He has a living totem pole. He has a totem pole that he gets out of his pocket, and each bit of the totem pole comes to life and attacks you, which is really fun. It's fun. I like Shaman. Also, he was a doctor. But he says he was a doctor, but his granddad disapproved because his granddad wanted him to be a magician. I'm like, to be fair, if you do that, yeah. Anyone would do that one. If you can make blizzards and living totem poles, what are you mucking about with medicine for? His real name is Michael Two Young Men. I know that.
No.
It's.
Is that hyphenated? What?
No, it's all one word, which is presumably like a sort of Black Crow type thing or something. I don't know, like their attempt. Well, in the way Colossus's surname is literally Rasputin because he's Russian, so he's Pyotr Rasputin. But Michael Two Young Men. It's a really funny name, Michael Two Young Men. No, but my favorite line that I was going to say is. Snowbird, who I think is like she's kind of like a spirit, Canadian spirit come to life as a woman, as a sort of beautiful lady, I think is the idea. But she battles Storm, and she says to her, this is my favorite line, "You may be a match for my human form, but can even you stand against ... a giant Arctic owl?"
Owl. Yeah. And the next panel, she's turned into an owl.
She's turned into a massive bloody owl.
And Storm's like,
fuck off.
I was a bit more afraid of you when you were a woman. Like, this is. Why would I be more afraid of an owl? You're tiny.
Can you withstand?
Very cute as well.
No, it is a giant Arctic owl, to be fair. It's as big as Storm. It's bigger than Storm. Rip her to bits, mate. Rip her head off. Pecker. Giant Arctic owl. She's toast. Yeah, she can control lightning, so an owl's no better against lightning than anyone, presumably. But
just ahead of that, Storm says, "I could probably overwhelm her with my powers, but the local weather patterns have become so unstable. I dare not take the risk."
Yeah, because of Shaman. Because of the Shaman.
The leader. Terrible. I can't get involved with this. Can't use my powers in this.
Yeah, but there's a reason, Jamie. Come on. You know there's a reason. Because Shaman has created a mystical storm. She can't control mystical storms.
Just storms.
Just normal storms. She's not a magician, for God's sake. But there's also a bit, I like a bit where Cyclops says about Wolverine, he may be a tough guy, but he's no criminal. I mean, he's literally murdered hundreds of people. I think even at this point in the comics, he's well known as a killer. Anyway, and also Misty Knight appears briefly. Did you spot Misty Knight?
Very briefly, yes. She's with Banshee at the front gate.
She's with Banshee at the front gate. Oh, and did you spot Danu, the Chronicler himself is in this comic?
The Chronicler?
Do you remember the Chronicler?
No.
Was it the Chronicler from the Galactus story?
Not the Watcher.
No, the
Oh. No, I didn't spot him.
It is Mr. John Byrne himself. The artist has drawn himself in it. Let's see if I can find it.
Oh, wow. Oh, I know who you mean. Yes, of course.
The blonde-haired beardy guy.
Yes.
That is him. He's put himself in it again. He can't keep it out.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I wonder if anyone's gone back and gone through all the John Byrne appearances. Probably they have. If not, I think we must. We must. Just what's he doing? I can't remember. He's like, I know he's chatting to someone called Doris, but it's spelled Dorice, which presumably his wife or girlfriend at the time. Doris.
Trying to find him.
Doris. Anyway, so there we go. So, I mean, like Alpha Flight, I'm afraid they have become something of a joke across the board. But I felt in this appearance, they felt perfectly reasonable, but you found them a bunch of losers right from the beginning, right, guys?
They were fine. I mean, the phrase "that stinks" appears, I think, more than once in this comic, and I went along with that.
Yeah, I think it was good enough for a bit of a punch up. It was just kind of like, let's give the X-Men a bit of a fight with some, cardboard super dudes, and that's it really. It's all right.
One of them was called Vindicator. I mean, that's a terrible name, isn't it? And why is he vindicated? Is it like, I was right? It was my right of way. Thank you. I am the Vindicator. Anyway, so there you go. Alpha Flight, not beloved, I'm afraid. But did you not enjoy the cool ending? It is a cool moment. I mean, that's cool. Jamie, do you want to tell us what? I mean, it's cool. If you don't already love Wolverine.
I'm assuming you're referring to the fact that the Canadian Air Force then escort the X-Men back home, back to America.
No, but
a little earlier than that.
Wolverine gives up. He goes, look, guys, this fight. So they're all there to get Wolverine. And eventually he says, look, don't fight for me. I'll go with them. I give up. Take me. and they put him in this specially designed cage, specially designed to cage even the Wolverine. All the X-Men are on the plane afterwards, very sad about it. What do we do? Cyclops says, we've got to go back and get him out of there. And he goes up to the cockpit, says to the lady flying the plane, the lady pilots, he says, he's about to say, we need to turn back. Who's sat next to her? Jaw him with a pretty lady, as he says, but only good old Logan himself. Logan, What are you doing here? The cage hasn't been built that can stop me.
Jaw him with a pretty girl.
Jaw him with a pretty girl. I mean, that's cool, isn't it? It's that mysterious Sherlock Holmes type thing, isn't it? Of just how did he do it? We don't want to know. We don't need to know. He's just very good at getting out of things.
But don't they know? They know all about him, don't they? The Alpha Squad or whatever it is, they know all about him. So can't they build a cage that could keep him? Like, if it was any Tom, Dick, or Harry doing it, then fair enough. But I just felt a little bit like, well, hang on. Yeah,
I'd like to know how, please.
Yes, actually, I want to be vindicated.
Fair enough. What if they showed it how, and it was like this hideous thing where he like found a crack in the thing and then like gutted all of them? It's just like covered in blood. But he's like, don't you worry, I got out of there. It's like, oh no.
He does sign off.
Maybe you are a criminal.
He does sign off the episode by saying, I don't worry about tomorrow, man. I take each day, each moment as it comes. No questions, no regrets. Let's break out the drinking stuff and celebrate.
You know what? I literally read that whenever I read it a couple of nights ago, and I genuinely went, I'm going to try and live my life more like that. I took it as proper self-help advice.
Hell yeah.
And Wolverine's lived for over 100 years, you know. No regret. And that's so clearly that is the way to be.
No questions.
All right. Well, we better wrap up. We've been talking for 6 hours. UK time. I'd like to leave you with some further reading. This section is called Further Reading. Anyone who's enjoyed these comics and wants something more or less. So for Alex Power, this is a new section I've created. Daniel's going to do some music. For Alex Power, I would suggest reading FF, which is the Future Foundation. So Alex Power eventually ends up joining Reed Richards' sort of junior Fantastic Four called FF, which is really good. If you want more sort of fun for kids one, I'd go for Runaways. It's a bit more mature than FF, but it's great. And if you want some space stuff, read the Brood Saga. More Amadeus Cho, I'd read Planet Hulk is great, which is by Greg Pak, or World War Hulk, but Planet Hulk's the best one. And Moon Girl's really good if you want to hear some more very clever kids. And all of Bruce Jones' stuff about the Hulk is really good. Finally, for Alpha Flight, it's quite boring for you guys, isn't it? It's just, for Alpha Flight, just forget any of it ever happened, I reckon. No, I'd read the most recent series of X Factor, which has North Star and Aurora in it. They become pretty good characters. You only saw them for a second. They're twin brother and sister who are just both very fast, but they're quite good characters. And I think North Star is the first officially gay Marvel superhero, possibly. Certainly one of them. I mean, he's definitely gay, but is he the first one? We just don't know. And you can find Sasquatch in the Immortal Hulk. That's a great series. Don't bother reading our Fly series. It's unbelievably boring unless you're really into the bureaucracy of Canadian government in the 1970s or 80s. But what I would recommend is reading a comic called Marvel Comics Presents, which is the first comics I ever got into, which is an anthology series, the series where Wolverine fights Wild Child. He's one of Alpha Flight's. He's an Alpha Flight guy who goes bad. He loses it, kills everyone. He kills all the rest of Alpha Flight. So Alpha Flight routinely get killed in really horrible ways. Vindicator's suit short circuits and like fries him. It's really unpleasant. And there is a character called Box, who is literally like a man in a box. And his real name is Roger Box. But Box, but it's his.
Stop.
I keep banging this chair. But Box is spelled Boch. Bochs. His name's Roger Box. And it's some really like cack-handed thing where he's like paralyzed from the waist down or something. So he lives in a big box that he controls. It's something like really awful. Well, and Puck is Puck is a little person. I believe that's the correct phrase, as in what would have been called a dwarf, certainly at that time. Someone with dwarfism is Puck. And he's called Puck because obviously Canadians are well into hockey, ice hockey. So he's like a puck because he's little. And it's really weird. They're all really...
Oh, so really I thought it was going to be like the Puck, the whole sort of Midsummer Night's Dream type.
I think it's
thing.
A bit of both.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was that originally, but I think it's actually because they're into hockey pucks or they're into hockey. I don't know how much they're into the pucks. But he's basically just really strong, but really little, and sort of somersaults at people all the time. But then what's more insulting, it's good to have a Marvel superhero character with dwarfism. It's equality and all that. Equality, is that the right word? God, I'm really tired. It's good. Diversity is the word I mean. It's right, but actually, it turns out he's not even got dwarfism. He's was a average heighted man who got shrunk when he was given his mystical strength. So it's sort of really insulting in that sense. But as a character, Puck, real name Eugene Judd, is a lovely chap. The heart of Alpha Flight, if you will. Okay, fine. Right, we've got to end this. Oh my God, I've probably had the best night of my life, to be honest. I don't know about you two. I don't think I've ever laughed this long. Certainly not this hard. I hope it's come out. To be honest, it doesn't matter, does it? No one listened to it. So, where? No, they do. Where do we put them on the order? Is the last question. And then Daniel, get out there. The order. Here we go. Currently, top 5 is Magneto, Abigail Brand, Adam Warlock, Agatha Harkness, and then Abyss, which is weird.
I don't think we're troubling. I don't think we're troubling the top 5.
No, I don't think we're troubling the top 5.
No way.
With any of these. Alex Power. Okay. Is he better than Airwalker? Yes.
Yeah.
Is he better than Abomination? Abomination is like our... Is he better than Aguila? No, I would say.
I like the idea of Magneto does electromagnetism. This guy does gravity, one of the other 4 fundamental forces.
True.
I'm happy to
hang on. I have a problem with it if he does gravity. Isn't that what we all do? Don't we all have that power? I mean, I'm constantly.
I think he can make. I've never flown. He can make you heavier, I guess. Can he? He can make his feet.
I can
heavy.
do that too.
He can have really heavy feet. Just grab onto
heavy feet.
Well, the weird thing is when he does his gravity power in the first one, he's actually pulling someone down anyway. So maybe he's just got like hideous skin disease on his feet. And he's it's gravity powers, Alex. Okay, but you like the idea of gravity powers.
But maybe it's not done very well.
Okay. Is he better? He's not better than Absorbing Man, surely. No. Is he better than Aguila? No. Do we put him above Aguila? No. Abomination.
Abomination's quite classic.
Ajax. Should we put him between Ajax and Abomination?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, making this more serious.
A risk of what?
A risk of making this more serious than
Yeah, we're making it far too serious. Okay, so that's Alex Power. And then who's the next one? Oh, God. Amadeus Cho. Got to be above Alex. I would put him... Oh, so we've got Alex Wilder from Runaways, who is another boy genius. I would put Amadeus Cho between Agatha Harkness and Abyss.
What? Are you bumping Abyss? You're bumping Abyss.
I think below Abyss.
Below Abyss. Okay, fine. Yep. All right, I'm going to put Amadeus Cho.
It's just clever.
Amadeus Cho, then Alex Wilder, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, Abyss is
Awesome.
not a. Okay, fine. And then finally, Alpha Flight. Okay, so they're in a group. Are they better than Fantastic Four, at Agents of Atlas, or AIM?
Are they better than the Fantastic Four? Now let's be serious.
Are they worse than AIM?
Yes, AIM were brilliant.
Yes.
I love AIM.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, worse than AIM. Yeah.
Alpha Flight could be the worst of all groups.
Could be.
There we go. Done. Brilliant. Well, next time we are meeting some other characters. We'll do a shorter episode next time, I reckon. I've just had so much fun. Next time is a jump ahead, so I don't know. It might be the Scarlet Spider with Jono from Sheeps. Might be joining us to talk about the Scarlet Spider. Do you know anything about the Scarlet Spider? No. Okay, we're going into the 90s with Mr. Ben Reilly. That's his real name. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Jamie and Dan, for joining me on this Odyssey. We hope you'll stick with us. We've got to get to the end of A, if nothing else, although we're jumping to S next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
So we'll see you next time. Bye.
Adios.
Bye. Adios. You have been listening to A-Bomb to Zzzax, my favorite Marvel character, with me, Colin Holt, and my friends Dan Snellgrove and Jamie Firth. There they go! Please remember to support us at patreon.com/A-Bomb to Zzzax.